Thank you for inviting me here tonight. This is very exciting for me. I feel like my story might be a little bit of a departure from some of the others that we've heard this evening, just because I think a lot of the people we've heard from, their stories have stemmed from how they have helped others. But in this case, I was the patient, so. Days after my 18th birthday, I had a seizure in a lecture hall of 300 people. My introduction to college life, and Clemson University, which involved an ER trip and a big unanswered question. What caused the seizure? What was going on? Afterwards, my health began to decline pretty steadily. My heart was constantly racing out of control, and I would get dizzy and start sweating profusely, occasionally passing out. I was severely fatigued, and my body ached all over all the time. I bounced between specialists, had every test you can think of, and left each appointment with more questions than answers. Then one night, while scrolling through Twitter, or what used to be called Twitter, as one does when desperate for distraction, I came across a lab at the Medical University of South Carolina researching the mechanisms of hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, also known as HEDS, a genetic connective tissue disorder. The collection of symptoms I was reading about sounded suspiciously like what I was living through. Not only was the team in Charleston conducting research, but they were looking for interns studying STEM who had HEDS. The collection of symptoms I was reading about sounded, oh gosh, I already told you that part. Most primary care physicians are unfamiliar with HEDS. The average delay between symptom onset and diagnosis happens to be over 10 years. This is what a lot of people in the community refer to as a diagnostic odyssey, a long journey from symptom onset to diagnosis. On top of that, HEDS is the only subtype out of 14 Ehlers-Danlos syndromes that does not have testing available for known causal genes. That means it is both an invisible disability and an unsolved puzzle for the medical community. I had no diagnosis at the time that I found the internship, but I reached out anyways. I asked if I could still apply, even though my condition had not been confirmed. After I interviewed, it took them just 7 minutes to offer me the position. That summer, I moved to Charleston. I spent my days doing research and learning about HEDS, and through the incredible mentors there, I finally got my diagnosis confirmed. At the end of the summer, my mentor and the team sat me down for a meeting, not to discuss the data that I was working with, but to convince me to pursue a PhD, to consider a career in research. After a whole year with no direction, no thoughts of anything past the day in front of me, I was suddenly imagining a future in science. I had previously intended to pursue genetic counseling, but the proximity of research to groundbreaking developments in the field drew me in and captivated my mind. Back at Clemson, I switched my focus to research. I joined a canine genetics lab, comparing disease etiology in dogs to what was known in humans. I even got to start my own independent project on miniature American Shepherds, met and fell in love with Eloise, and she is now my greatest joy. When the time came to apply to graduate schools, I was advised against disclosing my disability until after I received offers. It might be seen as a hindrance toward my degree progress and ability to produce research for a university. I decided to write about it anyways in my admissions essays because I didn't want to attend a program with a culture that was not going to support disabled students. I leaned into my story. I talked about my diagnosis, my lived experience, and my newfound passion for accessible research. I wasn't trying to hide my disability. I was reframing it as a strength. And I guess it worked. I received offers of both admissions and competitive fellowships and got to share my experience as a patient scientist. I think that the programs that accepted me recognize that having experienced the patient side of genetics, I can provide valuable perspective and enhanced motivation to clinical research and patient care. Patients are often an overlooked resource for important scientific questions, and patient outreach can lay the groundwork for developing treatments and interventions that target the most troubling issues. MUSC's HEDS research program and the internship I participated in have led to the first candidate gene discovery for HEDS, with almost every initiative and scientific publication driven by a patient scientist. We need more disabled representation in both genetics and biomedicine to provide an empathetic lens to our research and connect our goals back to those we hope to serve. By including patients and disabled researchers in the research that benefits them, we can ensure the impact of our work and learn from the perspectives of those it supports. Diverse perspectives in research broaden our minds, enhance our critical thinking, and keep moving us forward, because inclusive science means better science for everyone. Thank you.